Hello, this is Lori, and I'm going to share a technique with you today that I learned and I thought was really cool for making these great big words. I did watch a video tutorial called Say It Loud, and I do have a link that you can go look at that if you'd like. And this tutorial was made using Photoshop. And I like taking Photoshop tutorials and figuring out how to utilize those in the Artisan program. These pages that I made previously were all with Artisan 4. I'm going to be showing you with Artisan 5. It's basically the same principle. There are a few things that are a little bit different, but I'll be talking this through with Artisan 5. So here's my first one, You Rock. I did a Facebook timeline utilizing the same principle with Welcome Spring last year. I Love You to the Moon and Back, where I put in some of the photos of the grandsons at the Space and Rocket Center when they were visiting. And this one's really busy. It took a long time to do, but I love the saying, the secret to being happy is accepting where you are in life and making the most of every day. With a picture of me and my husband and I. So it just felt so perfect. So today, what I want to do is make a page, and here is the link to the Say It Loud video at digitalscrapper.com. And you have to start by finding a font that's really big and chunky. And I knew I wanted to use this saying. There's a kit that I'm using. It is Forever Joy Funtastical from the Lily Pad, and it's a great Seuss kit. One of the elements in that kit is this piece of vellum with the saying on it, but I really wanted to make it mine. There are a few different ways to put your big words onto the page. You can do it either by inserting a shape and then typing in your shape here. I do work to get a general size, but I don't agonize too much about it at this point. But here's one of the important things to remember. With what we're going to be doing in a few moments, the stroke is going to get in our way. So I like to get rid of the stroke and say none, and try to make sure that my letters are separated a little bit. If they're not separated, the next part is a little bit harder. Now, the other way you can do it is to just insert a text box. I like to make it approximately the right size to begin with. And now I will switch to the same font and make it quite large until it fits about right in my space. About like that. Once you've got the font in there, what you do have to do is go to Insert Outliner, and then you can proceed with the cutting apart step. Don't forget to go to your stroke and say none, so your letters are relatively separated, or the hope would be that they are, and then cut, wand, select each one. You'll select, cut copy, keep both areas, and cut, and work your way through just like we did the other way. I'm going to go back up to this line, Today Was Fun. I have it grouped together. I've already cut it apart. I'll go to Arrange, Ungroup. You can see that each letter is now individual. I've already loaded the papers in from the Funtastical kit over to the right-hand side, and this is where we really have a good time filling in these letters. Now, you saw that I enlarged this a little bit. It's like doing a bit of a zoom on the letter so that I don't just get this bit. I can have more of the design within that letter if I choose to. So the difference, you saw that let me go back so you can see that again. I have the D selected, and if it stays here, I get a design that looks like that. However, if I bring it up and now OK, the design looks totally different inside. So when I do this, I like to pay attention to how much of the design I'll have within each letter. It really does affect the finished look as we're going through. At this point, I can continue on with all the different letters and cool designs, but I'm going to stop for a moment and show you the next step. If all of these were filled in at this point, I can take the whole thing, I'm going to group it again, and now I want the outline. The outline's pretty important in order to really see each one of the letters against the background that you put in. You don't want it to fade into the background. So insert outliner, and of course it's going to pop onto the top. So I go drag that with all the colors and pull it on top. Let's zoom it up some so that we can see what's going on. The outliner has given us the bit of the color around the edge, but it's usually not enough to really delineate those letters against a busy background, and it's probably pretty likely my background's going to be busy. So here's the stroke, and I just play with different stroke amounts until I get exactly the look that I'm going for. I never quite know where I'm going to end up. That looks pretty good. There are places that outliner, I have the outliner chosen right now, where that outliner isn't quite the way I want it to be, so I can right mouse. Now you see that it's selected the top one. I'm going to go over and hide that top out of my way and grab the outliner again, and I know it's right here on the A. Right mouse, shape, edit shape, and now you can see the F is selected. I'm going to come get the A, hover, right mouse, make straight. I can bring yes, I have to accept, I can bring this visible again and see how it looks. So to get that fine detail, I may have to pop in and out a few times in order to do that. At this point, assuming that everything is all filled in for my letters, I'm going to add my background. So if I find a paper that I really like, I'm just going to pop it on there and see how it looks. And there are many times where I play around with several different backgrounds until I have a look that I'm really liking. I very rarely think about it ahead of time or make a decision ahead of time. I just pretty much try a few different things and find what looks good to me. And now I would start pulling in elements and playing around with them, placing them on the page. And a lot of times I like to pull in many elements at once. So while they're all highlighted, I can go to Format and add whichever type of shadow I need onto them. And I can keep on going. So I would build this page up. I might put a border in. Sometimes I go to a template that I like and take a cool background from the template. But the main point is that you want to keep building this up until it has a lot of texture, but you really have to be able to see those words. They need to stand out. I might not leave the outliner with a black stroke. I might go into my stroke and change it to a solid color that matches my kit, but still allows it to be seen. And definitely with these big chunky letters, I'm going to do some type of a shadow. Probably a light. Sometimes a heavy shadow is a bit too much, but it just depends on the look that you're getting. This is going to be kind of a playful page, so a light shadow might be enough. Another thing you could do if you want a double stroke is I could go do a compound stroke and do a double stroke on it, and that will totally change the look of that outline on the page. Have fun with this.